Hello everybody, welcome to UK Gaming Network and welcome to my Sunday night live stream. I'm Zoidberg. I'm doing something a little bit different this week. This is the first attempt at doing a UK Gaming Network Gaming Academy. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and learn how to play a game that I've been intrigued by in the past but never really got to grips with. And I thought, what better game to start with than Monster Hunter Rise, which has just come out on the Nintendo Switch last week. Part of a series that's always intrigued me a little, and I've a little bit of experience playing Monster Hunter World, and I think I played the original Monster Hunter on the PS2 back in the day, but I never really understood what I was meant to be doing. But it always looked like it would be fun. So in order to help me learn this game a little bit better, I have been joined for this stream by Mike Moans, who is much more experienced with this series than I am.
Good evening, Brian.
So what Mike has suggested is that I play through a couple of one-star village quests on my own first, and he will then join me for some online quests a little bit after I've done them. So why don't I just get on and do that without just sitting here chatting about it.
So for anybody who's come to Monster Hunter Rise from Monster Hunter World, the main difference is this game is a lot more beginner friendly. There's a lot more focus on getting the casual and Western audience involved in the game. This has mostly been a Japanese success and didn't really hit the mainstream until Monster Hunter World in 2018. So a lot of people don't appreciate the difficulty curve, and not a lot of things are explained, kind of like a lot with JRPGs. So now that they've done their Monster Hunter World and people complained it wasn't particularly beginner friendly, their second outing, Monster Hunter Rise, which started in development at the same time as World, has really been adapted to be so much more beginner friendly, to the fact that if you just want to play the story, you can actually get to the end of the story game probably in about 4 hours game time, but that is only maybe 25% of the overall game. So definitely different.
I played a little bit of this earlier, obviously, to do the tutorial mission, and I'm already impressed with how good it looks in comparison to other games on the Switch.
Well, what they've done is they've
really made good use of the Resident Evil engine, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. One of the problems with World was, while it was very, very high performance and crystal clear looking, they couldn't get a lot of the creatures to behave the right way due to the rendering technology. So every single creature in the game fits a body type or behavioural class. The Leviathans are your long-bodied, snake-like creatures, sometimes more pisking in nature. Now, when they did that in World, it didn't work at all, and they had to remove them after I think it was the first trailer. They said, oh yeah, we're going to put Lagriacus in the game, which is a fan favourite. And then they went, yeah, we actually can't do it. So this game is the one after that finally put them in, after we were begging so long to have them back. With the monster classes being the way they are and the different skeletons, it was kind of like taking out an entire 30% of all monsters we wanted to see. And obviously with different shapes and different behaviours came different gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why this game's had such a roaring success already, because the biggest complaint about World from veteran fans was every monster seemed to be a dinosaur or a dragon. Now we've got the Leviathans back and the great beasts, the bears and things. We've got a lot more variety.
Uh-huh.
And I believe this game had 63 monsters from the very get-go, so you've got a lot to hunt. Now, that does include small animals as well. So I think at the moment, if you're running around the shrine, you've got Jaggy and Izuchi. They're kind of like small raptors. And then you've got the big, the great Baggy, the great Jaggy, the great Izuchi.
Well, I'm actually in the world now. I've got my tent here and I've got an item box, which I've just taken a couple of health potions out of.
Yes. Now, bear in mind, they are shared between your party, so if you're the only one, go ham.
And the stamina ones as well. We've been joined in the chat by Teru, who said, "Hi guys, we both sound very professional compared to our Wednesday stream."
Yeah. This is it. This is what happens when you're not here to be a bad influence.
Yes. And she's saying that she will have to play this one herself after your explanation begins.
Honestly, it's a massive difference. What I'd like you to do, Brian, is try Monster Hunter Generations after you've maybe had a bit more playtime on this. Monster Hunter Generations
that's
Ultimate.
A Switch. Is that or is that Wii U? Or is it
originally Wii U?
Right.
Originally on the Wii and the 3DS, and then they ported it for the Switch in an update and made it for Ultimate. Now, when I was saying earlier this was in development at the same time as Monster Hunter World, this is more akin to Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate than it is World. You've got some of the mechanics from World. Instead of Iceborne's Clutch Claw, which is like a grappling hook, we've got the Wire Bug, which has a lot more uses. You've got the way the world and the monsters move. That's a bit more like Monster Hunter World. But World was very open map, big lobbies, focus on players. With Generations, it used to be one instance at a time. So while your map is numbered at the moment, you would only load that one zone. So you would have a lot of loading times between each one. One of the things that impressed me from day one about this game is there's no loading times. Any loading times there are very minimal. Even on World, there was a hell of a lot of them.
Well, I don't. You probably can't see what I'm currently doing, but I'm hunting and killing 8 Jaguars at the moment.
Jaguars are nice and easy. You'll find them on the right-hand side of the map. Now, there's another quality of life that you may not have noticed because it seems so obvious. But again, going back to World and Generations, it didn't tell you what a Jagras was. It didn't tell you where to find a Jagras. Now, if you look at this game, you've got little red dots all over your radar.
Fezzik's just killed something with large horns. What's it called?
Yeah.
A Bullfango.
Bullfango is just a boar. That actually used to be a pretty major hunt and an annoying one.
I've just
really
got some
odd.
Bullfango pelt off it.
You can make some very good gear with Bullfango, especially if you wield a hammer.
Sweet.
It's all the thing that always put me off playing Monster Hunter games in the past was understanding all the differences between the weapon types and how to upgrade them.
They've streamlined the upgrades in World and then further streamlined it in this one. Now, there was 2 things that went wrong with World. All the weapon designs were either metal or bone. So if you look at the weapon trees for each of your creatables, they have a core, whether it's a metal or a bone core. Now, in Monster Hunter World, all the weapons were going for hyper-realism. In this, they've gone back to the Monster Hunter Generations fantasy style silly weapons. I can have an egg on a stick as a weapon.
Nice.
I've got a revolver chamber on a stick as a hammer. So they've really gone back to doing fantasy weapons, which was sorely missed. Even the armor, like they've gone proper over the top with it, and it was needed. Because again, World kind of went for hyper-realism. Also, the hunts are so much quicker on this game as well. I'm doing most of my average hunts in about 15 minutes.
Terry was saying that Fezzik acts like in real life, killing things and then laughing about it. That's just that is just what that is just what our cat does in real life. Yeah.
So another addition to this game is you have the Palamute. In previous games, you only ever had Palicos.
Yeah, now, little dog thing.
I don't think the dog's been optimized that well. It's almost one of my criticisms of the game. Now, again, as I play it more, I might discover more uses for them. But they tend to be favoured over the cats simply because you ride them and to get you around the map quicker.
Yeah.
But saying that, that's all they do. The cats have a lot more skills, a lot more utility in farming, a lot more just general usage.
That's going to upset cat people.
Well, I run around with mine mostly, obviously. But in the lower game, having the ability to just run around and farm equipment is super beneficial. But switching back to the design choices from World, the hyper-realistic engine and design of everything wouldn't be possible on the Switch. So they've gone back to this stylized anime shot, and it works. It brings back the fantasy side that was sorely missing. So with each of the releases in future probably being one Switch, one main home console, I see it being both sides of the fandom happy.
Well, there was a Monster Hunter game made for the Xbox 360.
Oh, really?
I don't think it ever got a Western release. I think it was only ever released in Japan, because
they do get all the benefits.
If you sign into if you create a Japanese account on the Xbox and sign into the store, there's a demo for it.
Didn't know that.
But obviously, you'd need to be fluent in Japanese to actually understand what the hell was going on, because there's no English text in it.
Yeah, I think somebody else mentioned that about quite a few JRPGs that came to the consoles, that they kind of forgot the Western audience. But Monster Hunter didn't actually sell very well overseas until World, but that was their first real venture. Generations Ultimate had fairly good selling, but that was because people noticed it after World. If you go back to play Generations Ultimate, it is so clunky. Everything about it just seems outdated and horrible. But it's got such charm and so much variation in how you play that it's well worth picking up. But it feels like a retro game now, even though it's just been redone for the Switch. Even though
we have now been joined by Pad in the chat as well, saying
hello, Pad.
Good evening, Pad.
This is a game I think Pad would enjoy. But the big thing about this for me is the amount of BS they cut from the game. The tracking system they implemented, which meant you had to go and find monsters and level up your tracking, it just slowed the pace of the game down to a crawl. So being able to just... I
didn't like that about World at all, to be honest. You'd be fighting a monster and doing really well, and then it would run off, and you'd then have...
You still get them...
You spend 20 minutes trying to find it again.
You still get them running off, but they move with a marker on the map, and they only go one zone. They don't tend to fly to like a nest up in the rafters. Everything's a little bit more two-dimensional for the monsters, but more three-dimensional for you with the zip line and all the extra gubbins.
But Terra is saying in the chat that she played the PSP Monster Hunter on the Vita and just got lost with it.
Was that Generations?
I think it might have been.
Because again, they don't explain anything. This is why, before you mentioned you were doing this one, I said, you're going to probably want a guide. And then I was happy to be wrong about it. They did introduce this village, which, believe it or not, is the same concept from Generations, just fleshed out better.
But Pad has agreed with you, saying that he thinks he would enjoy this.
I wish you could see my screen now, Pad. I'm fighting a giant seahorse. I can't say much more than that because it's a spoiler for the story, but it's a beautiful seahorse.
It says I am returning to the village now, so I've killed 8 of them.
So, when you're in the village, if you look up at Elder Fugan, who's at the top of the steps, and go to the right where the armor smith is, there's a bridge that takes you to another area. Have a little look in there.
Good job, buddy.
Right, let me go and have a look where you just said. I'm literally just going to take all with all the items that I've got as well.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, come on. So I am in the process of writing my review for this game, but without going into spoilers for it, I find this is actually an episodic game, and it's not been advertised as such, but it is.
So Fugan the Elder, you said?
Yes. Look at him, but don't go up his stairs, and you go to the right, past the armourer, past the market, over the drawstring bridge.
Yeah.
The drawbridge. The rope bridge. So the reason I say this is episodic is they've already announced 2 DLCs coming. This first one being in April, the other's date to be confirmed. Now, each of these are adding multiple monsters. So based on the exact wording, we're looking at 6 new monsters in 2 months.
Terry says it was Monster Hunter Freedom on the PSP.
Oh, Freedom Unite, yes. Yeah, that was
and
good.
Pad's asking how much is this? I think it's a full. It's a £50 game. This one is it?
I got it off Amazon with 2 keyrings and a steelbook for £40.
Right.
Which is brilliant. I would have easily paid 40, 50. The keyrings that look really cheap on the photo are really like solid cast.
Right. Cool.
Which is something that pleasantly surprised me. Plus, you get in-game content. The only downside of the in-game content is the ones for your animals is the exact same if you played the demo. So really you're only getting half the content if you've already played the demo. But again, it's just cosmetic. It makes your dog look like a golden retriever.
Okay, taking me to the Buddy Shrine, is that right?
Yep. So there's a lady at the back you could talk to, there's a buddy specialist, and there is a Meowsnaries.
And then there's a buddy board, yes. You can hire and train buddies as well as obtain monster materials and a variety of other things. Okay.
So it's like AFK farming.
Okay, so yes, that's the way back to the village. Buddy handle lorry.
Basically, she'll go and fetch you some new fresh cats. You're going to want to recruit a small army of them if you're playing long term. For the time being, you really don't need them.
Okay. So I'm guessing that the buddy board is the quickest way to browse them rather than
yes.
Find.
You don't really find them. You can recruit them, like say pick a handful of skills or a skin colour or fur colour or a particular pattern. So if you want, say, a ginger cat, you can set it to only find ginger cats.
Okay, so does this mean it replaces your current Palica?
Nope, you pick which one's your primary, so you can leave some behind, go and pick up others, etc.
Okay.
And that can all be done at the buddy board.
Fezzik does look rather fetching in his little outfit, though.
Is it Fezzik as in the Princess Bride?
Yes.
Excellent. Please stop throwing boulders at me, Mr. Dragon.
Okay, so I'll go and see what other village quests I've got then.
Yep. One of the things I like about this game as well is they've really stuck to the Japanese theme for this one. So if you meet a new monster as part of the quest, you get like a haiku as a cutscene introducing them. There's a lot of kind of like scroll-based artwork that's really done in a nice Japanese style. You've got dangos as your food as opposed to like massive steaks and things.
Well, yeah, Terry says that she loves the artwork on the loading screens.
It's the music that caught me straight away.
And as a massive fan of character creators, she's also just put so much customization.
And if you keep picking different skins for cats as well, not just armors, but if you keep recruiting cats, you can go, right, I'll have a tortoiseshell, I'll have a ginger, I'll have a whatever. So you can have an army of different cats, all basically picked to your kind of requirements.
So 2 of these quests are only gathering ones. Gathering
yes.
unique mushrooms.
That will give you the chance to basically go around and farm
and
all the things you need. So your health potions and things like that.
And then I've got one that says help with maintenance, which says like slay 8 Izuki.
I would do that one first because they will progress to the point you can actually fight real monsters.
Okay, I'll do that one. Keep having to go in and check that the Discord hasn't kicked me out.
No, don't worry. It's me going quiet, focusing on the endgame boss. I say endgame boss. This is going back to it being episodic. It's really not an endgame boss. It's kind of like half an endgame boss.
It's just the current. It's the current endgame.
So your HR is your hunter rank. So what level you are now.
Yeah.
7.
So I'm only currently level 1, which is about right.
Yeah, I'm 7, which is max, and that's quite low by Monster Hunter games. The armor you get is quite low. Everything just seems a little short of where it normally would be. So with all the DLCs announced, all 3, by the way, I'm expecting 2 years of continued support for this at least, the same as what Monster Hunter World got. Now, World got a year's free content, and then it got £30 DLC, and then another year's free content for those with that DLC. And the DLC doubled the size of the base game. And I believe it's £30 for the DLC.
Uh-huh.
Well worth it. It was almost like a relaunch for the game because he added so many mechanics that fixed basic problems, and including the clutch claw, which was kind of like the prototype for the wire bug.
Well, I haven't actually bought this game at this point. I'm only playing it from a rental.
It's still the full game though, so you shouldn't be handicapped or anything. Yeah. Right, so okay.
Oh yeah, it's still the actual cartridge for the game. So. Got no idea where these monsters are going to be.
Have a look on your radar. Red dot.
It's not showing it. It's not showing anything on there. Oh, hang on. No, yes. I can see a red dot shrouded by the fog, slightly to the north of me. I think I heard that way. I'm gonna have to go up some hills by the look of it.
When you land on the side of a hill, make sure you're holding down the right bumper, because that lets you continue running up the wall.
Mine now.
Right.
So I didn't actually figure out until about my 9th hunt.
Ah, these monsters look like they're in a cave. Well, either that or I'm just going through this cave to get to another area. Terry is asking, do you have a PS4, Mike?
I do not. I am Xbox, Switch, and PC. Right. That is something pretty new I've not done yet, so that's nice. So, as with Monster Hunter, there's breakable parts on each of the monsters. It could be a horn, you could chop off tails. There's lots you can do. So, you've got a thing called a hunter's log or a hunter's guide, depending which edition you're on. And that will tell you where monsters are weakest, things like that, what rewards you can get. And again, in this edition, they've added more to it. So, it tells you exactly what skills, what elements do more damage, what type of weapon, be it bludgeoning or slashing. They've really extended it to make it more accessible to casual.
So I've apparently picked up a stink mink.
Stink mink you want to be very careful using because it attracts attention to you. Okay. So, 2 things they've added this edition that really pleased me. You've got endemic life that have more use. So these little kind of like glowing bugs and toads, things like that, they all have a part in the game. Now, in previous editions, it used to just be like a grub on a log that gives you stamina. With this, there's a lot of gameplay adaptation from these little creatures. The next part is they've actually added an aggro mechanic, because believe it or not, Monster Hunter does not actually have aggro, which is, in my opinion, ridiculous in a game that could really benefit from a tank, a healer, DPS, etc. So they've added some new skills and a couple of creatures, like the Stink Link being one of them. It gives you the monster's attention more, like the Crow that does it as well, I believe.
What button did you say to hold on to make sure you can
right bumper?
Yes, got it. Right, it's telling me that there should be a monster right here on the map. It's not here.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah, it was telling me that it was here on the map because I hadn't skimmed it after killing it.
That'd be why.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So this is a boss I normally run in about 10 minutes, and yet for some reason it is taking about half an hour. What is going on? There we go, job done.
I've killed 3 of them so far.
Pay attention to your stamina.
There's 4. He just didn't play as a team.
Just trolling was a big problem.
I do occasionally get that on Rainbow Six as well, where you'll get somebody who will just intentionally blow up the other 4 members of his own team and then run away.
Yep.
And then get and then let himself get kicked out of the game.
To be honest with you, most of the Monster Hunter crowd tend to be pretty good. You just get issues with people who don't understand the game or bad placing. Ooh, another gem. Excellent.
Okay, I've only killed 5 of them, and there are no more showing up on the map now. So,
have a little run around. They may respawn.
I'm guessing this is where I need to start hunting them, which is all part of the name of the game.
What do we have here?
A unique item, mushroom colony.
So there's 2 kinds of currency in the game. You've got your Zenny, which is your money, and you've got Kimura points, which take away the old... Oh God, what was it? Resource points, I think they were.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like your sciencey money, so you can put it into researching things or loyalty with certain people. Zenny is in short supply in this game. That's one thing I've noticed. And I think it's come with nerfing armor. Because they had a big problem in World where the armor creep was a bit ridiculous. And people needed exotically rare gems, and it broke the balance of the game. People were just permanently stuck in a limbo of either being too overpowered or spending too much time trying to be fairly powered and just couldn't get the right draw. They've taken a lot of RNG out of the game, and they've put a lot more into buying the right armor than getting the gems to add the right skills. So a lot less faffing. The gems that add power to your armor and your weapons, they've streamlined as well. They've stopped it by being randomly determined after quests to being randomly determined in groups.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, it kind of works a little bit better that way.
So there they are.
So, what weapon are you using?
It's a big sword.
A great sword? A long sword?
It's whatever my first sword it gave me was.
They'll give you all of them.
Do they?
They do.
It just literally said, here, have a gift of a sword, and let's see what you look like with it, and gave it me without me choosing one.
Okay.
Wow.
There was a line of dialogue that says we put one of every weapon in your box. So I mostly run hammer. I am proficient in the lance and the glaive.
Don't mind if I
Lance
do.
is mainly for tanking and keeping aggravation. Hammer is for breaking heads and horns. And the insect glaive is very evasive but low damage. So if you're playing on your own, it's a fantastic weapon because while your hunts will take a bit longer, you're not dying.
Yeah. And not dying is always good in games.
Yes. Every time you die, you lose 30% of your reward. If you die 3 times, you have no rewards.
I think it's the 8th one for me to kill, and then the hunt will be complete.
Excellent. I need to figure out how I can roofie a bear.
Main objective complete.
Easy peasy.
Nice.
I think I've maxed out my inventory for some of these things that I've picked up.
Well, you can dump them back at base or at your camp on mission.
Well, it's going to be returning me to the village in 10 seconds. So there's no point trying to run back to the.
You'll
camp.
see me there. I need to figure out how latent power works as a skill, because this is another thing they've not done. They've given you a really vague definition of how the skill works. It's along the lines of increased affinity and damage while certain conditions are met. Cool. What are the conditions? Would love to know. But I haven't actually had to really Google anything for this game, which is a rare treat compared to the others.
Wasn't there a game that came out a couple of years ago that was like a free-to-play one that everyone said was like...
Was it Monster Hunter Stories?
No, it wasn't an actual Monster Hunter game, but everyone said that it was a free-to-play game that was for Monster Hunter fans. Was it Dauntless?
Dauntless, yeah. Keep being heard about that, but I've never really followed anything.
Right.
Even their official wiki doesn't tell you.
Oh, hello.
It's always fun.
While active, increases affinity by 10%, reduces stamina depletion by 30%.
Come again.
What makes it active?
Manage equipment. There we go. Let's see what I've got then. Oh yeah, so I've got a great sword. I was using a long sword in answer to your question.
Yeah, I really don't like them.
So I've got a great sword, I've got a sword and shield, lance, hammer, switch axe, insect glaive, heavy bow gun. Dual blades sounds like it might be up my street.
Dual blades are long combo weapons. So visually, they're a lot of fun. So what I suggest you do is you equip them and then you follow me. Because there's a practice dummy you can play with.
Okay.
So if you look behind you.
Ah, yes, there you are. Hello.
Hello. This is also a little thing that a lot of people overlook is if you press the plus button, go to the fourth menu on the right, there is pose sets. So you can show off your gear to people or take photos.
Right.
So, yeah, they're pretty cool.
To show off your natty duds that you're wearing.
Yeah. There you go. So this is a Naga Kuga hammer, and then I've got the Rajang pants. So if you follow me this way, over the bridge towards the buddy.
I couldn't think of a name for my owl.
I can't even remember. Oh, I call mine Mokana.
So he is literally just called Norman.
So this is a mechanical dummy based on the monster Tetranadon. So you get to practice all your combos on it.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure how you actually activate it, but I know this is part of the training. So I'm pretty sure you'll have to speak to somebody around here to make it work. I've never actually used it because I'm quite familiar with it from other games. But it is supposedly your training dummy.
Okay.
So if you figure it out, let me know. That's Meowseries. I may as well claim that. Have you seen the cutscene from The Lady with the Submarines?
No.
It is adorable. The lady is over
Terra
here.
was saying, epic armor, Mike. Is Willow your companion? Yes.
Yes, she is. So have a little speak to this lady here.
Where's Willow? Is that Willow behind you?
Queen Willow, yes, she's with me. She's wearing the Pookie armor, which I desperately need to upgrade.
Nice. Yes, there's Willow.
Pretty sure I can do that now, actually. So yeah, speak to that lady there, and then she will load up a submarine with cats. And the cutscene is amazing.
This lady here.
Yep.
Rondine the trader, her.
Yes.
Ah, it's you.
There might be a point in the story in the early game where it'll activate, but definitely worth kind of figuring it out.
Wow. Yep. Until we meet again.
Nah, no cutscene.
Nothing yet.
No.
Well, it is well worth looking at when you do get the chance. Let me just start my farming palicos. That's Floss, King William, and Boomy. And we're going to throw Appa in there as well. We've got the destination. There we go. So that's about okay farming. For anybody starting the game, I recommend they come this way and have a look up this tree.
Okay.
There is a Kahoot nest that gives you some basic supplies and you can keep revisiting it. Steel eggs are worth money. Lagged apples are fantastic for helping level up your cats.
Oh, very nice.
So it's just worth being around for. I really wish I knew how to make this work, because other people do it. So I'm going to go back into the main hub. Have you been to the actual hub?
Oh. I like how you don't sustain fall damage.
Yeah, god damn it, you need it in this game.
There's the hub that's inside the building, isn't there?
Yes.
Because
So-
there's the two sisters. There's the one who does the red missions, one who does the blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, there's two ways of getting there. You can either walk, or you can hold down the minus button, and there will be a little marker next to wherever the area is,
Ah, yes.
and that will tell you who needs to speak to you. So if anybody needs to speak to you at all, you could just click on their area and go straight to them. So you could basically, within the blink of an eye, be in the hub prep area. You could be in the training room. I think training room you might have to be offline to use.
Yeah, training areas.
So I've posted a quest. It's level 1. It's against one of the newest creatures in the game called an Acnosom. It's a bird wyvern, and it breathes fire. And it's very cleverly made because it has like an offense and a defense mode. So you can tell by the way its plumage is being used. So before you go on any quest, you should be eating your dangos, because they give you a lot of buffs, starting with health and stamina, and then some other things between collecting extra resources. So if you come to the hub...
That did actually kick me out for a second, so I'm back.
No worries.
Good old Discord. But yeah...
So meet me in the hub.
Mike has posted a quest, so I will get back in there.
If you come to the hub.
Ah, yes, there we go. Did it.
And eat your food first, because if you don't eat, you get smacked about.
Time for a rest.
Have you changed your weapon to something you'd like to use?
Well, I've got the twin blade. I'm going to give them a go.
Cool.
I'm going to give them a go.
Now, I'm not entirely sure how they work in this game. Now, normally, it's lots of combos with A and X. If you hold down the right trigger, it charges them for more damage. Now, the only thing I'll say is I'm not sure how they work with the wire bug, because it does use the same button. But have fun, figure it out.
God, I've got no idea what these food things are.
It doesn't really matter at this stage, to be honest. You mainly go for the health buff, which you get as a default for eating. Later on in the game, you could start eating to select foods like Thunder Resist or Bonus Carving.
Nice to see it's got a completely unnecessary cooking animation again, just like the Monster Hunter World did.
Oh, yes. You can skip it by holding down the plus button.
Why would you want to?
Trust me, there's so many times that song gets on your nerves. But I would not want to cut it. But unfortunately, if I could just mute it, I would.
Just seeing little cute cats making food. Why would you not want to watch that?
Back to work.
Because I do it like 50 million times a day.
Well, yeah, there is that, I suppose.
Right. This is your quest board. This is where you're going to pick up the quest. Now, in Monster Hunter World, you used to all have to watch the cutscene, then pull out the game, reload the game where one person posts the quest like I did, and then all join. In this one, it's just you have a world, you can all do it. Will it let you join now, or do you need to do more of your story?
Hang on. There's a 1-star quest called Shady Monster.
Yeah, that's the one.
Join this quest. Yes, I am joining quest session.
Lovely. So when you're ready to go, just tap the right trigger. That'll tell me you're ready, and then I'll be able to depart us together.
Standing by.
Make sure you've stocked up on your potions and your stuff like that. And I will bring a trap just so I can show you how that works. There we go. So when we get into this, there are icons in the top right representing the big monsters. If there's a little blue icon that appears under it that looks like an open mouth or jaw or something, the monster is weak enough to be trapped.
Okay.
Which the game didn't tell you. Right, so before we go anywhere, always start the quest by picking up the free health potions. Now, they are 1 for each player, but if there's only 2 of you, it's 2 each. If you're on your own, help yourself. Now, you'd be tempted to run straight down this hill. There's actually another mechanic they've added into the game. If you come around the back of your camp, there is the Great Wirebug. And these will launch you across the map. Now, if you want to ride your dog, you can hold A, which will increase your movement speed. If you drop down to here, you get some points for picking up this berry bush. Not important at all.
You go falling all the way down to the river at the bottom.
Don't worry. Right. So, if we go ahead here, we're going to come and meet a creature called an Azaros, which is a bear.
Okay.
Now, these little floating orbs give you bonus health, defences, staminas, etc. Now, you'll notice I'm not riding my dog because I brought my cat with me. They're much more beneficial for farming resources. Now I'm in the end game, all I'm doing is farming resources. So it's very rare I'll take the dog. By holding the right bumper, your dog will be able to run up here. Any of these kind of vines, riggings, whatever you think they are. Just make sure you don't run out of stamina if you're doing it. Have a look here. This snake, the anti-cobra.
Yes.
Antidobra? It's not got a C in it. These are kind of like useful animals, kind of like the skink mink you picked up earlier. Now, one of the new mechanics in this game is you can ride monsters. Now, to do that, you have to weaken them just a little bit.
Yeah, it showed me that. It showed me that in the tutorial.
So, what I like to do is try and start off by fighting a monster that isn't the monster you're fighting, just to do enough damage to ride it to take you to the monster. Right. Now, as a hammer user, I've got access to 2 big wirebug attacks, that being the first, and that will do enough damage, and I can go for a ride. Aknasom, which is the creature we're going for, is just towards 5. So if you follow me and the bear, you get the option of using light, strong, dodge, or launch monster. Now, there's a little trick here that I've kind of picked up. So you tend to go for your strong attacks first. It fills up a bar, which is like your aggression. So what you want to do is use the monster that's not the monster you're hunting to attack the monster you are hunting.
Yes.
Now, this seems really obvious, but if you switch to launch monster, it will bang the heads together and you can switch monster. So you can actually get more damage done to what you need to and drop more materials by switching over monsters rather than using the punishing attack. The punishing attack will do more damage, but doing this twice will get you more materials, a little less damage, and you could have a lot of fun kind of doing it. So if you just watch what's going to happen now, I've already done the banging the heads together, so I can't do it twice. It can really have the same effect. There's the final hit. This is a mounted Punisher. Pressing A and X together, it gives you a full guide, and it just kind of does a beneficial movement. Now for this, you get 6 drops, which when you're farming, is massive. So you can pretty much make a set of armour just based on what's there. Now we don't really want to hang around this fella unless we have to. So I suggest you follow Aknasom, who has gone this way.
This is for my fellow hunters.
Now, when you're on a hunt in this area, this little bit here in the groves, you can normally find a few decent little power-ups. There's a little ball here. You see this little beetle?
Yeah, there you are, okay.
So this beetle here has a snowball. You can throw that at the creature to give it frost blight. Now, blights are kind of like degenerative conditions that work them down.
Right.
So in the older editions, they only worked against you, but they've now made it so it's a bit more fair. So it's just a debuff for the monster.
That's fine. Where you've gone now?
South.
Yeah, that's it.
So just to show you what the hammer can do, with the wirebug, you get 2 attacks. Now, later on in the game, you do get to exchange them. My first one uses 2 wirebugs, I can charge up my hammer, shoot right up, big smack. That does immense damage to a body part, really good for breaking. The other one is using the hammer to charge up and roll through. Now, for me, that's left bumper and A for the first, and left trigger and A, or left trigger and X for the other. With dual blades, I'm not sure because of your charging mechanic. So, have a little play with those.
We appear to be getting attacked by a giant monster again.
Don't worry. Now, this one will be considerably stronger than the one you fought already. So don't be ashamed of just rolling and healing when necessary. There you go, we've broken something, and it's, by the look of it, it's not its face, maybe a wing? We'll see. Ow, you big pecker. So when I said this has a kind of defensive and offensive mode, if the shield of its plume is up, that's defensive, it takes less damage. But if it drops it, it will slash at you and try and do bonus damage against you. Now, it's got these white tears all over its head at the moment. That means I've broken it, which means you're going to get bonus wounds. But breaking them can also give you an offensive buff, or give them a deficit in some way. For example, a Diabolos without its horns does less damage charging you with its horns. This one, it can't shield as well because it's got a broken headdress. And because I think we broke its toes, its claws, it's off balance now, so it can fall over a lot more. Now, don't forget to pick up any shiny items. They are materials. If you get caught on fire, just make sure you roll around a little, put that out. There you go, and it's flown away.
Got a wyvern tier.
There you go, that's just bonus Kimura points. There we go, I need to heal. Some honey. This is a great resource. It lets you make mega potions, which are massively helpful in this game. Also, don't forget you've got mining outcrops, you've got plants to pick up, pretty much everything you want to start hoarding, certainly early game. If you switch to like a bow gun or a bow, you're going to be making lots of ammunition.
Now's your chance!
The element is. So also you can use your terrain to jump on a slope, so I can slide down it and go into a rolling attack for bonus damage.
This is gonna hurt!
Make sure you heal.
I've got half health. Not
That.
got them yet.
Remember, in Monster Hunter, everything's a boss fight. So half health is basically one hit if he lines up a fireball.
Fair enough.
So this is one of the big things that kind of people didn't realise with Monster Hunter just getting into it. Even the early game, you are doing boss fights pretty much from the get-go. Every monster you're looking at about 15 minutes to kill. You need to time your dodges, use the right equipment. I don't want to say it's Dark Souls, but the kind of mentality is there, even though it's much easier than Dark Souls in my opinion. And the game doesn't punish you.
It's better than Dark Souls as far as I'm concerned, because it's not using the R1 and R2 buttons for your fighting.
Yeah.
Which I've never liked.
I don't understand why people would even consider using that. So you want to keep yourself at your kind of level about 70% health or more. For me, these attacks are doing so little I don't actually have to heal anywhere near as much. Now bear in mind, I've just defeated the endgame monster this morning. I'm still not killing this quickly. Now this is one of the things that kind of reflect the fact that this is an episodic game. We are nowhere near what we would consider endgame. Right, Come and talk to this bubble.
What's up with this bubble?
It's a healing bubble. This is support items you get from your cats. So these are kind of little benefits to having those.
Who knew cats could be so useful?
Well, in the lore, they were bred to be slaves, and then we found them too cute and we respected them so that they actually became friends, which is why they're called calicos. There are wild native ones, there are very aggressive wild ones.
Says my dog's quite close to hell. Quite close to death on his head.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about that. They just take a little, 30-second nap and then come back to the fight.
What's the significance of the different colours of the numbers that are appearing when I'm hitting?
So an orange is a crit, a white is just a normal hit, and I think it's a blue is a negative crit. So the game works on an affinity scale. So affinity is your chance to crit, but it's positive and negative. So if you,
I've got nothing but white hits then, but then all of those were orange. Then. Oh no, and I fainted.
Don't worry, happens to everybody. Even me, I fainted to I think I fainted to this creature actually, and I've been playing the other games, forever.
So I can just run back to you now.
Pretty much. We should be on the brink of death. If not death, trapping. Now, what I'm saying about affinity is, let's say you've got a weapon that has minus 20 affinity, 0 affinity, or 20% affinity. If you've got 0, that means without any modifiers in addition, you will get a crit 0% of the time. If you've got 20%, get a positive crit and do bonus damage 20% of the time. And the negative one is you get a negative crit, so you do much less damage than what you would do even at 0. So this creature's got the blue little marker below his icon now. So I'm going to place a shock trap and switch to Tranq Bombs. He's now shocked. 1, 2, captured.
Just as I got back.
I was literally stalling it until you'd be there.
Well, I could see you doing something on my screen, so it was visible.
So normally you get a minute to carve up the monster or collect things, but if you trap them, it's only 10 seconds because the job's done. Yeah.
And is there what's the benefit to trapping them rather than killing them? Do you get more?
Different trees for rewards. So I wonder if it'll show you this actually. Basically, one of them is more likely to give you certain parts than the other. So if you imagine dissecting the monster, cutting it open, you've got access to some of its parts. if you preserve it, you could probably keep more of it intact. So things like scales you get more of by capturing, but kind of like wings, sinew, stuff like that, you get less. So depending on how you end the mission depends on how the rewards kind of land.
So I'm with a communication error, so I don't know whether I'm still in.
You've just fallen out the lobby.
Yeah. Alright, so in that case. Back. And I did that with the stream waiting screen on, so that people couldn't see what we were doing.
Not a problem. I'm just doing some post-game MacGuffin.
But the blacksmith, he has an important thing to discuss with me, apparently.
Yep, go ahead and do that.
What do you want? Yeah.
I want to change the armor on my cat.
Improve my armor by upgrading it.
So I recommend buying the Izuchi armor when you can. That has some of the best early game skills.
What is it?
So forge, upgrade armor. Let's try and upgrade some armor.
No need to hurry. There's plenty of time. Gotcha.
Right, excellent. Now I can
Right.
change the skin on my cat.
My hammer's ready. No problem.
Aye. Twin blades.
I have made my cat into a little pope.
So they have gone up from attack level 50 to attack level 60, which I'm assuming probably isn't much compared to yours. Compared to this,
To be honest with you, mine's not actually that high. Bearing in mind mine's a hammer, so mine is per hit considerably stronger. Mine does 190, which by end game of Monster Hunter World Base Edition would have been something like 400.
Yeah.
So this is why I've got my suspicions that this game is literally just episodic, and they've not said it. also the way the story kind of goes does imply this is like chapter 1.
Should I go and see if I've got another quest available?
Oh, don't worry, I've got plenty for you.
It says I've got 3 quests remaining in the hub.
Yep, so you do those, then you rank up to the next HR. I'm not fighting a Lagombie tonight unless I have to. They are super annoying. They're basically rocket-powered bunny rabbits. Which sounds really good, until you have to actually hit one. Alright, don't forget to eat.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just having a look at what the actual different ingredients do.
So they will upgrade as you go through the game. So they'll give you more healing, there'll be other options.
That'll do.
Wow, I've got a lot of stuff in my item box. Okay.
Yeah, that'll only get bigger.
Jumped into the Forest Islands, is it that one?
Yes.
Hunt a great Izuki.
So this is another new monster that was added with this generation.
Standing by.
And it's got a mechanic that hasn't actually been used properly before. So this one is the big brother of the little Azuchi that you slayed at the very beginning.
Yes.
And this creature will attack in unison with its babies, almost coordinating attacks, which hasn't really been done before. Well, they've kind of touched on it, but not to this level.
I appear to have a real life Palico sat next to me now.
Yeah, mine's sat there, judging me for not playing with her.
Oh no, mine doesn't care, he's just cleaning himself.
We'll meet an icy grave. Snow so cold it burns. From here, no one returns.
This'll be easy.
Okay, new map that I've not been to before. Okay.
You tend to always have one desert, one forest, one snow, one other. That's kind of like the Monster Hunter way. And then you get boss fight arenas, which are a bit different.
That's a big monster.
The mammoth.
Yeah.
That is the Popo. Perfectly harmless. There was a creature we all kind of hoped would return called the Gammoth. And he was a big boy. So this is our Azuchi. So he's going to primarily attack you with his 2 little front claws and its tail. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to attack it back. Have you seen how the other 2 babies have popped up now?
Yes.
Look how they attack me in unison.
It's coming for you.
Okay.
It's a clever little mechanic they haven't done before. But they think a lot more about the behaviour of the creature. They're not just in here for the sake of them. They write properly. They have behaviour. They have signature attacks. They do things for a reason. The Monster Hunter movie, which completely bastardised the franchise that was just released, starring Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, I haven't bothered watching.
Don't. I promise you don't. It makes Doom look good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That good.
Yeah. Yeah. So what they did in that is they had a black Diablos. Diablos is a horned desert-dwelling vegetarian, but it's very large and it charges with butts heads, kind of similar to a rhino. Now, they only get aggressive when people are on their territory, and they cactus, and they're perfectly harmless until they decide they do harm to you. So little details like why does a black Diablos exist when the majority of beige, well, the female sees. So if you see a black Diablos, you have to treat it differently to a beige Diablos. So as far as kind of like hunting, these are all things that are very beneficial in game, because if you try to use meat baits on a vegetarian, that's not going to work. If you try to break horns on a creature that's horns don't, that's just a waste of time.
Want your help?
You're better than that! It's all over for you!
So the breakable areas on this is you can chop off the tip of its tail, break its front claws, and you can break its nose, I believe.
He's running away.
Yeah, they'll do that.
It's almost like he doesn't want us to kill him.
There are some creatures that are so aggressive they will chase you around the map and never let you ever get away from them. So a Rajang or a Devil Joe, they are particular. Devil Joe is known as the Pickle. Right, if you want to see another monster, follow me around this way. We will come back to that monster, but riding another. So this is the Lagombie. It's big snow rabbit. Not as big as the Azaros, but same family. These are a member of the bear family. So these are technically great beasts. This will mainly attack you using time legs or body charging.
Right.
So what I'll do is I'll weaken this and then you take for a ride, hopefully. If I can get it to sit still for 2 seconds. This is why I don't like fighting them.
You're the target!
Problem is, if I use multiple hits, I might accidentally ride it. Right, there you go. Go for the hit, and it'll let you ride. The instructions will be on screen.
Yep, done it.
So hold right bumper to take it for a drive. You've got to try and aim for Suzuki, which is just the way we came.
Hang on.
Otherwise,
I'm trying to turn around.
Turn in circles a bit whip.
There you go. Got it.
And then you just go fight it.
Oh, he's there again.
So it will mostly attack directions itself. It does have kind of like a lock on. Should we pick up that material?
Pulled it off.
Nice.
That'll do for now.
Don't think it went on clean, so it's not got the full knockdown, but it does mean I can get some damage in.
This one's gonna hit hard.
Which means Azuchi is probably quite close to being rideable. So they have a mathematical threshold that's like you need to do this much damage before you can do X, Y, Z, including a build-up. So there's like a cooldown, so things can't be just written back to back. Poison can't be just perma-applied, things like that. So make sure you pick up the items from them before you move on, because that will help you make new armor. You can't make the new armor of a creature you've not slain. So even if you get like 150 pieces from this Azuchi, but you don't kill it, you can't make it, because you need to understand how the materials work, etc. Or at least that's what the game tells you. So there's this creature here called a trick toad. This is basically like bait. So you activate it, and it does the same job as the stink link. So that creature, Azuchi, will prioritise attacking that over us. Lagombie, on the other hand, has also got involved. So we now have two to fight. I don't think the Lagombie's going to stay here very long. Nickel the Azuchi.
These twin blades seem much more mean in terms of weapons.
It does feel like everybody has their weapon of choice. It doesn't seem like all weapons apply to all people. And you'll be surprised the mix, dual blades might appeal to you, but then you might also take bow and reject hammer. I personally don't like the ranged weapons. I think that the amount of time I spend farming the ammo and stuff is worth the amount of time in battle doing damage.
Coming back to Overwatch, it's like there's characters in there that I just don't use, but I'm sure people like.
There you go, that's the Azuchi dealt with. It's quite a low health for the Azuchi. So now you get to carve it. Now, one of the nice things about this game is most of the creatures shouldn't attack you while you are carving. So just stand over the body and then tap A a few times.
Don't mind if I do.
You can normally do it 3 to 4 times. And then once you've done that, there is an ore next to us you can mine.
I know it said
Mind if I do.
some mushrooms.
don't know if you've ever watched videos from Digital Foundry about games.
Not knowingly.
Because they did a look at this. Basically, they always look at the technical side and like how good the graphics are and the technology the developers have used to make them. And it was comparing things that they'd done on this to things that they'd done on World.
Oh God!
And it's just showing that, just little touches like the fact that the you can see the Palico actually dive out the way on World, whereas it doesn't on this one because obviously it doesn't have the power behind it to do everything like that.
Yeah.
He said, but it doesn't affect the gameplay in any way.
Honestly, because of how cluttered the fights can be in this game, you really won't notice. That's the kind of thing you look for before you realise.
Yeah. As I said, there's lots of extra little animations on all the characters and everything. But they did also say that it's not a problem because it's all perfectly understandable.
Like, one of the things they've done in this is they've reduced turf wars. Now, turf wars in World are a spectacle. They're not as common in this. Which is a little disappointing. They do happen, but when they happen, they feel really special. Right. Let's do that's a little different. We've done the Azuchi. Oh, you could probably make Azuchi armor. So if you go and see the armor smith,
Back to work.
He's back outside, isn't he?
he is, yes. I've probably got time for one more before I'm summoned to watch Pennyworth, which is weirdly good as a TV show. The story of Alfred the Butler.
Yes.
Why? Who said that was a story that needed telling?
It's Forge armor that
upgrade.
Yes.
Izuchi pelt.
Gotcha.
Let's get cracking. Gotcha. Right, let's get cracking.
There was one bit that it wouldn't let me do because I don't have enough hide or tail. But that was only the gloves.
Nah, it's not too shabby.
Gotcha. Take good care of your gear.
Quite have enough for that. Not a problem.
I'm heading back now.
And you need to do one more, don't you, to get your level 1 done?
Time for a
It says
rest.
2 more online quests, but one more village quest.
Right, that's fine. Let me see what else we got. Kuliyaku, Baggy, or Lagombie? Let's do the Baggy. We've not seen a Baggy yet.
That'll do.
Now, Baggy is another one that kind of fit this early game monster raptor frame. It tends to be quite a common frame because they have low HP, fairly regular attacks, and don't really take a lot of learning. You do notice that the level of threat in each monster does increase as you get further in the game. There's one in this game called, I think it's Akdakraki or Ratnakadaki, I think it is. It's a giant lava spider. And you only face it just before the end game boss. So it's kind of one of those armors that you want to farm a bit before you go and fight the big boss.
Yeah.
But the time it takes you to get to it, how many you would love to have fight and things like that, it just feels like I've kind of played enough of the game where I'm using its armor more than what I've got out of it. You know what I mean? You know, oh yeah, I've ranked up all my armor to fight one creature. Cool. So this is why episodic is where it's going. Because as it stands, the only post-game there is redoing things you've already done.
Yeah.
Which is unlike Monster Hunter, because there used to be events going on all the time. There used to be a rotation of event quests, which they probably will put in this, just not in the first month.
So, hunt a great baggy, that's what we're doing, is it?
Yeah. Now, a baggy will put you to sleep. It will throw a breath attack that will literally make your character go to sleep.
Just knock you out completely, right? Fair enough.
Yep. And then you can be woken by your cat or your dog nudging you, a player waking you, or leaving you long enough, or you getting hit again. So any creature that can kind of stun you will normally follow it up with quite a big attack, which is where teamwork comes in.
Yeah.
Easy.
You can also drink the energy drink in the box, which gives you some resistance to it.
We should explain why it's there.
Yep, they tend to give you little favours like this early game, not so much late.
Trying to find where you've run off to.
I'm just grabbing the Azuchi to ride into battle. Would you like the honours?
Hang on, I'm going to drink the energy drink, actually.
Right, not got time. Jumping on. You only get about 5 seconds to mount it. So, follow me.
Bring it on.
We are going to go get the baggy.
Yeah.
Now, you do get to ride them for about 30 seconds, but skills do change that. So, if you're riding your dog, you should be able to get here pretty quick.
That's our target. That's our target creature.
Yep.
That, is it?
That is the baggy. So there is the baggy, the roggy, and the jaggy. They're all kind of like siblings. They're all in this game. I'm going to go straight for the Punisher because we're after that creature. So it's kind of does this running skip claw attack. The Azuchi will then move on. Now, there's something in this game I will not forgive. The trousers for the baggy are not called baggy pants. Small thing, but they're not. They're called baggy boots.
Not even called baggy trousers, so you can't go singing Madness while we're playing it.
Nothing at all, no. Out of all the things I could have done. So this shape it's got is the very deep. The baggy will give you paralysis. Sorry, the baggy will put you to sleep. The jaggy will give you paralysis. And the roggy, poison. Lagombie. There you go, make them bump heads. Now the other one's rideable. And you jump to the other. And then you go again. This is just the way you optimize materials, really. Because each one you do gives you an extra material on the floor. Ideally, you could have done this the other way around, but this will have put the Lagombie to sleep. So, another little thing, don't touch the Lagombie for the moment. If you do a wake-up attack, you do bonus damage. It actually doubles your damage. So that has just done about 900 damage as opposed to 400. So when you're hunting, you can put bombs by sleeping creatures, you can do big hits, you can do all sorts. Unfortunately, with your blades being so individually weak per attack, it only doubles the very first strike. So it's not really worth you doing the wake up without the bombs. Again, bombs are quite easy to farm. Hammer, on the other hand, has that lovely switch strike. Wirebug strike. That can pretty much just conk a creature out. So we've already broken its horn, so we get the bonuses at the end of the mission. It's probably at about half health. I'm about to get put to sleep. It follows with a combo.
Like all respected.
Yeah, it's basically a sedative. So each of them of its family do either poison, paralysis, or that very much the same means. They also have a bite attack on the others, as they're more fanged. This one's horned. But you can break their teeth, and that reduces the paralysis or poison. The Taziki Yaku, which was the Monster Hunter World skeleton of this model, had a stun attack, kind of raise up a kind of like a collar around its head, and then flash you with a bright light. I might be able to wake you up while beating on him. Oh, there's a cat that went down. Ouch! Oh, with a hammer you could also throw your teammates. You may have just discovered that.
Are you okay?
Oh no,
Alright, I've knocked it out.
Sorry, I just drank me an energy drink before I could do anything.
Stop, don't go near it. It's gone to sleep.
Okay.
My cat can occasionally put things to sleep.
Thanks, buddy.
Just wait for my bug to recharge. There we go. Big damage number. It's ready to be tracked. Switch to a pitfall trap. Drop it in. And it's run away. Typical.
Damn it.
Yep. Super annoying. And it's going all the way across the map as well. I'm going to see if I can cut it off, maybe.
Faster.
Oh, these are ice walls. I'm not climbing those. I'm going to map travel. That's what I'll do. That'll take me to the other end. Oh, no, tits! Right, before we go anywhere, where are you stood? Hang on.
I'm in the water at the bottom.
Yeah, you just passed. Oh, no, it was me who did it. I was near the Lucky Life. There's a creature. It's a vulture. If you find it and take its lucky stick, it gives you double rewards at the end of the quest. If you look on your radar at round number 6, there's a picture of a bird.
Yes.
So we've now got about 30 seconds to get to it before it moves. It goes to another area, so it's moving now towards 7.
It is moving, yeah, I can see it.
If we chase that down, we get double the rewards. It's actually going towards you, which is nice. Should be in my eye line. It's coming to me. It's in number 4. This is a new thing they've added as well. There's 2 types, which is super rare, which is this one. Which should land any minute now. Really, it was right where I was just a minute ago. And it's along here somewhere. Where are you? There you are. How close are you? Quick, quick, quick. If you want to come have a look, it's a very rare bird. It's a Melissa Crow. There you go. Okay. So if one of us pick it up, we take its stick, and we now get double the rewards. They're incredibly rare. I think there's about a 1 in 30 chance it'll spawn per mission.
Nice.
Yeah, so, you've got footage of that. There's another one called the Lucky Owl, which gives you double money. He's a bit more common. He's like 1 in 15, 120. So this creature should have run off to sleep in the cave. Oh no, it's not in the cave.
This thing out here.
Yeah, I've walked right past
here,
it.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I should finish this in 1 hit. Oh no, only got partial. Unfortunately, I'm out of traps, so I'd be stuck.
Reach all the way and use some health.
I'm asleep.
It's got eyes on you.
Oh, I'm going to be woken up. There we go. If I can land 1 more big hit, I am done with this thing. Wow. 600 damage is still not dead. Actually, a little impressed. There you go. I just needed another like 40.
Easy peasy.
There you go. And then you cut it open.
Don't mind me.
And then make sure you pick up the honey on the wall behind me.
Got a great baggy hide, a great baggy claw.
Sleep sack's one of the better ones you can get from that. Then you can make sleep weapons.
Got some honey.
And there's some poo here as well. Always worth picking up poo. poo can be used to make
Good
repellent.
job, buddy.
So if
I've
there's a
already got
creature attacking you, you don't want, you can shoot it with the poo, and then it
Yeah,
runs
I've already
away.
got a lot of poo in my storage box.
Honestly, super worth having. Not so much for this end of the game that we're at now, but when you start getting Rajang, which is hyper aggressive and will kill you in one,
Yeah.
then you kind of want it.
Hooray!
So there you go. Now you've got a bit of armor under you and you've got a little experience, you should be able to do the village quests with very little problem.
Okay, cool.
So my only advice is make sure you stock up before your missions, taking your potions,
Yes.
traps if you need them. You could buy trap tools from the merchant who is opposite the weaponsmith. Wow, what utterly terrible melding items I'm getting.
I'm still only HR level 1, but that's because I've still got some additional quest to do.
You've got quite a lot to do. So the story is finishing the village quests.
It's a good
The-
day for a hunt.
Story then continues into your hub quests after you've done all that. It's kind of like two sides of a coin. If you level one up more than the other, you will struggle. So with the village quest, that unlocks your level requirements, well, your thresholds for the armors, for the palicos, for just about everything. However, the hub is what levels you up in the game. So you really want to do your village first, farm up a load of materials, farm up your armor, do the basic how-to stuff of that before moving on to what we were just doing. Now,
Yes.
because you had me, it kind of balanced it out, but if you didn't, that would be a much harder fight for you.
Yes.
But there you go. That is basically how you play the majority of the early game campaign in a nutshell. You just keep hitting that, do exactly what you've done, check your armor after every mission, see what you can upgrade. Don't upgrade frivolously. There is no reason to upgrade stuff that you're probably not even going to wear later.
Yes.
But yeah, that's it. That's Rise, really.
Listen up.
Well, I think I've got enough there to keep me going, information-wise.
So how did you find it next to World? Because you didn't take to World.
Yeah, it was just a bit too overly complicated for my liking, and this doesn't seem like it's anywhere near as complicated. So,
Yeah, it's very much a backs to basics and got rid of a lot of the crap. Little things like the lack of loading screens really helps it. The multiplayer lobby being a lot easier to access. The missions not having long drawn out tracking and ill-explained. There's still some stuff that's ill-explained in this, but you're kind of meant to figure it out yourself as a hunter. So it's a little more hand-holdy, but not, off you pop, go die. But just the fact that we're getting a minimum of 6 new monsters within the first month of release is impressive.
well, yeah, it shows that they've clearly got a long-term plan.
So if we follow the same path as World, we've got, I think, 18 months of free content. Then you get like 6 months without any real new content, just events and stuff. Then you get a big DLC, and then another year, 2 years worth of content for free for those who bought the DLC. So
They did Iceborne, didn't
they did, and that changed the game. It was so good what they did. And then they brought back the biggest bad of them all, Fatalis, which less than 0.5% of players have defeated. And I'm one of them. And oh boy, did I max out my headset when I killed that thing.
Right, well, I think I'm actually going to end the stream there myself then. Seeing as we've done a bit of tutorialing. And so thanks very much for that, Mike. Thanks for giving me the benefit of your experience.
I absolutely love this game.
I hope everybody has enjoyed watching that. And if like me, you've learned something from it, then all the better. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe if you did enjoy it. And I'll be back on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Playing a bit of Oddworld Soulstorm, which is coming out on the PlayStation 5 on Tuesday. So I'll be hopefully able to download that and play it by noon on Tuesday.
Lovely job.
Been looking forward to that one for a while.
And I will be having the review of Monster Hunter Rise done very, very soon. I've just finished editing my footage.
Excellent, good. And let's not forget that on Wednesday night this week coming up, we have some Star Wars Squadrons with a team of crack UKGN pilots all working together, shall we say?
There's so many lies in that one phrase.
Yes. Well, we shall see.
All right, Brian. Have a nice evening.
Okay. Yes, and you too. Thank you very much for that. I'll speak to you soon, Mike. Thank you everybody for watching. Bye for now.